Well, welcome to today's Periscope. I'm your host, Robert Imbriale. We're going to be talking today about what it takes to be more successful in your business. It's not what you think. A lot of people are a little bit confused about what it takes to become successful in your business. I'm going to share some things with you today, some strategies that some of my clients have used just this past week alone and have hit some major home runs, and something that you're going to be able to use as well in your own business. Okay, so what does it take to really succeed in business? Well, what it takes isn't what you think. It really requires that you fail, listen to that word, that you fail a lot more often than you succeed. Now, this is really a tough lesson. I mean, I've been in business for a long time. I actually started in the business world in the 80s. I've been doing a lot of small business work ever since. And I got to tell you something. It's really interesting as you start to see and you look around at a lot of business owners and you say, what are they really doing to be as successful as they are? Some of them fail, and you look at those too, and there's a lot to learn from those who can't make it and those who actually do end up failing. But for those who are succeeding, what is it that they do? Now, there was a lesson from Dan Kennedy that he taught, and it really took a while for it to sink in. He says that the majority of the marketing that you do, probably 90% plus of the marketing that you do, will ultimately fail. It won't produce any results. It's just going to fail, flat out fail. But for the other 10%, the 1 out of 100 emails that you send out that produce the biggest results, that makes it all worthwhile. So what I want to share with you today is how do you get that mindset? Because, we're sort of conditioned, I think, in this marketplace to believe that everything we do is going to be a success every single time. The truth is that doesn't work. I mean, the best of us fail more often than we succeed, and that's just the way it is, right? And a whole lot you're going to be able to do about that. So we do fail a lot, and the key to it, you got to think about it a little bit like a football player, right? As you look at a quarterback who plays football, if he throws a pass and the guy doesn't catch it and it goes off into who knows where, or it gets intercepted, right? You start to look at that and you say, well, what does he have to do? He has to recover before the next play starts, right? He's got to get it out of his head. And where I struggle a lot, and I think a lot of people struggle as well, is that we don't recover fast enough. So what we'll end up doing is we'll say, well, I've done these emails, I've done this website, I've posted this blog, or I've done this Periscope, and, it didn't succeed. I didn't have enough people. I didn't have enough response. I didn't have enough, results from it. I didn't make any sales from it, and we get bummed out. And what happens when we get bummed out, right? Do we step back up to the plate and do it again? Oh, most of us don't do that often, really that quickly. And sometimes I had a client, you're going to laugh about this one, but it's a really good story. And you can relate to it, I think, in a lot of ways. He sent out an email to his list. The first time he'd ever sent an email out to his customer base, people he'd been doing business with for a while. He sent out an email, and it was several weeks later I met him, and I said, so how'd that email go? And he said, I don't know yet. I said, what do you mean you don't know yet? He says, well, nothing's happened yet. The email went out like 3-4 weeks ago. Nothing's happened yet, but I'm still waiting. And I'm thinking, waiting for what? What in the world could possibly happen if you didn't already get the result you're looking for? What in the world could possibly happen between then and now, right? And the truth of the matter is like he wasn't really ready to accept the fact that the email didn't work and turn around and come back and do something else. So a lot of us in the business world will say, you know what, forget about it. It didn't work. If I don't get a response, and this is a good one for you to write down. This is a writer downer, right? If I don't get a response to an email I've sent out within 15 minutes, 15 minutes, that's not a big window. If I don't already get a response within 15 minutes of the email actually being sent out, I know the email is not going to do very well. Really? This has worked for years. Tell me about this. I started bulk email marketing back in 1995, way before most people that I know have ever been on the internet. And I got to tell you something. If you don't get a response right away within that first 15 minutes, time and time again, I know the email's a failure. 4 weeks later, forget about it. There's nothing coming in. You've missed the boat on that one already. So the goal here is to turn around and really get back in the game as quickly as possible. Don't be sitting on the sidelines waiting for some miraculous thing to happen. It probably is. If it hasn't happened already, it probably isn't going to happen. So get back in as quick as you can. Do what you need to motivate yourself. Do what you need to get back into it, because like I had like a couple of clients this week. I had one client specifically who was selling coaching services, and he had been posting on Facebook and doing all these things for the past year, got zero. And all of a sudden, one post he put out there, made a little tweak to it, a little adjustment to it, he got a new client. Paying client after a year of trying and nothing happened. And I said, so how does that feel? He says, it makes the whole year that I've been playing with this worthwhile. And I said, you're absolutely right. That's exactly the way you want to look at it. You want to look at it and say that one win, that one sale makes it all worthwhile, because now he's got a formula, right? He's learned what he needs to post, how he needs to post it, when he needs to post it, what he should say to be able to attract now even more paying customers. So he can just take that formula, and I told him, write it down, take careful note of what you did, because now you're going to want to fine tune that. You're going to do the same thing again, just fine tune it slightly. So maybe next time you get 2 paying customers. Not going to change the world, but for those 2 people, he certainly will. And for him, it'll give him a lot of motivation to keep moving forward. So what I encourage you to do more than anything is, yes, you could do a Periscope. Yes, you could post a video on YouTube. Yes, you could do a blog post, send out an email. You could buy some advertising. Maybe you buy some Facebook advertising. Maybe, you whatever it is that you do, it may not work. In fact, most of the time it's going to fail. But that doesn't mean it failed. What it means is you've learned something. You've learned the way not to get to the result you're looking for. And if you can get yourself around the issue of worrying about exactly, what you need to do to fix it, and you just really understand that there are lessons in all of it, and just look at it and say, okay, here's what I did, here's what didn't work. Let me come back with a fresh view on it. Take the day off, go walk on the beach, or do something to change your mind if you need to, but don't let it sit for months. And that's the challenge with a lot of business owners, that they just let things sulk for way too long, and they don't get back in the game. You got to get in the game. You've got to stay in the game, because the magic, and this is the word that I'm going to use a lot. I've got a new book coming up, and there's a whole chapter dedicated to this one word called momentum. Okay, momentum's really important. If you can build the momentum, and how you do it is a little bit at a time, incrementally, right? Every day I'm doing something. So every day this week, I've been doing a Periscope, and I've been recording video for my website, and I'm putting that video all over the place. I'm putting it on LinkedIn. I'm putting it on my YouTube account, my blog. I'm putting, just letting it go everywhere. And it's starting to develop momentum. I'm getting new people following me at Robert Imbriali on Twitter, robert@ultimatewealth.com if you want to email me, or robertimbriali.com is the website, the blog site, right? And next week I'll start working on putting all this stuff into a podcast. What exactly do you do? Hey, this is great. I am actually a consultant. I coaching. I help people with small business, help them become more successful. I've been doing marketing for many, many years. Started marketing online back in 1989, believe it or not. I've been doing this a long time and selling a lot of information products, and helped sell hundreds of millions of dollars online, and keep going. I'm working today with a client in-house, and we were talking about online video and how they're leveraging that now to really just see sales, just take that turn upward, which they've been looking for a long time. So actually, you can go to ultimatewealth.com. You can find a lot of information there about what I've been doing, and so follow me on Twitter, because I post a lot of the stuff up there as well. Okay, let me get back to the topic at hand, and that is building momentum. And we all have little failures in life. We all have these little things that we do in marketing. And marketing people aren't geniuses, by the way. You might look and you say, well, if I'm going to hire a marketing guy, I want to make sure that I get the result that I'm paying for. And the reality is like most of the marketing we do doesn't work, doesn't produce the magnificent results that we're all looking for. But it's that one that you keep doing, keep making those little refinements, keep making those little changes, and you get to that point where all of a sudden, bang, it just clicks for you. It makes all the rest of it worthwhile. So that's the way you want to look at your business as well. You want to be able to recover from the things that, didn't work out exactly as you expected. You spent $50 on Facebook ads and you didn't make any sales. You didn't get any new subscribers. It's not the end of the world. You go back and you look at the ad and you look at it with a fresh set of eyes and you say, okay, what can I change? Or maybe ask somebody who is in the know about this stuff and ask them what you could change. And you go back and you try it again. And all these people that you look at who have become very, very successful, this is the secret. The secret is they don't give up. They have tenacity. They just keep coming back. They keep doing it again and again and again. They get better and better at it. Same with me, same with anybody. I do the same thing. I work with a lot of clients who, get out there and they think they've got it all figured out, and they come to me and they go, well, we did this, this, and this, just like we read in the books or we saw in a seminar, and guess what? It didn't work for them. That's okay. We go back in. What did we learn from it? What worked? What didn't work? Let's work on the things that were... yeah, you can pretty much say just work your ass off. Well, that's one way of looking at it. I guess you could say that. But it is a process. It's not an overnight success. And this is where we get a little bit lost in business, is we say, look at this guy. He just showed up on the scene. He didn't, it's like it was an overnight success. All of a sudden, bang, they popped up and now they're in everybody's mind and they're all over the place. And really, you don't recognize the 20 years of work that went into getting them to that point in the first place. But you can truncate that. It doesn't have to be 20 years. It could certainly be a lot quicker, especially if you learn how to stay focused. Right? And that's the problem with today's, internet, the way it is set up, is that we're all getting distracted and we're going all over the place in this social media network, that social media network. Gee, should it be email? Should it be a text message? Should it be, should I be using Twitter? Should I be using Facebook? And there's all these distractions. But if you just really took it down and said, okay, I'm just going to focus on one. This week, it's going to be Facebook. I'm just going to focus on Facebook. Maybe you focus on Facebook for the next 90 days. Do you think if you did that, just one social network, and you just focused on it for 90 days, do you think you'd become somewhat of an expert on it? Now, there are no gurus out there. There are people who learn some things, but these networks are always changing, right? Social media is very, very young. But if you focused on one thing for 90 days, you'd probably become pretty good at it. You'd probably become competent at it. And if you had one product or one service that you're offering, it would become easier for you to find out what you need to do to refine your message so that you start producing the result. Now, I use this strategy that I teach my clients, and I've been teaching them for many, many years, who didn't have a lot of money to advertise and market. And back before the internet, it was all postcard marketing and direct mail, right? That was what we were doing. And I would say to them, I said, you can do something very easy. And you could just send out a handful of postcards, right? 25 cents was the cost of the postcard back then. You'd send out a handful of postcards. You can only afford to send out 100 this week. That's all you send out. And you send out your 100 and you see what the results are with response. If you're getting response, great. If you're not, let's try a different postcard. It's only $25, right? It's not a big amount of money. And they would do this, and they would get better and better and better. And some clients ended up sending out between 30 and 50,000 postcards a month because they figured out the message. They figured out, how to deal with the 800 number, what to say on the phone, how to hire the company that would answer the telephone and close those deals. So once you get that figured out, it becomes a lot easier. So yes, you must get into massive debt. I hope not. Advertising, I think a lot of people look at as an expense, and I try to look at it as an investment. I put it in a different column in the accounting, and you do too. Great, absolutely. And if you do that, it becomes it's an investment in your business, which you have to make. I know a lot of people say you can advertise for free, but you get what you pay for in life, right? And I think really. That's what I'm looking at right now is for a lot of customers who are doing the free advertising and not getting the result that they're really looking for. So I want to leave you with a couple of things today. Number one is don't give up. If things don't work out the first time, wipe yourself off, lick your wounds, whatever you need to do, take a break, go for a walk on the beach, clear your head, but come back at it and try again. And if you don't know what to do, then that's the first step on your list, is to ask somebody who does know what to do to give you advice. By the way, Periscope is a fantastic resource. I have been watching a lot of scopes over the past week. Scopes, I guess, is going to be a new word in our vocabulary, huh? I've been watching a lot of scopes the past week, and there are a lot of experts coming on here sharing information, and you don't have to pay for it. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm going to make a list eventually, and I'm going to share it with you of the Periscopes you should find and you should follow because they're really worthwhile. 35 years I've been in retail business. Wow. I'm feeling old now too, because I've been in the online marketing business since 1989. I'm one of the older ones in this industry. So yeah, congratulations to you. That's fantastic. So build momentum. Start out slowly if you need to. Start out, making mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the quicker you'll get to the point where you'll start making the money and seeing the kind of results that you want to see. And I think that's going to be the strategy that you need to be able to get to become more successful. All right. I am going to let my Twitter audience go here. There.